Hey everybody, welcome back to Culz Book Reviews. I know we've actually talked about this book a few times on our Culz Sports Chat episodes, so I'm glad that we're able to finally bring you this review. Today we're checking out The Glory of Their Times, the story of the early days of baseball told by the men who played it, by Lawrence S. Ritter. Now, I did pick this one because we had our vintage baseball game at the Littleton Museum that we checked out, and I wanted to read more about the early days of baseball, and so it really came down to two different books on my Amazon list, this one and another one that I'm sure at some point we'll cover, but I actually ended up that very day finding this one in our local thrift store, and so I couldn't help pass it up because at that point, it's almost like a sign, you have to pick it up. And honestly, super glad I did. I really enjoyed this one. Let's take a look at the book real quick, and then we'll get more into what it's about. So as far as writing goes, this one is 345 pages, though if you look here, it does have one final picture to kind of cap off these stories. You'll see as I flip through, there is a ton of different pictures, and not even just about the people that the chapters are about, because each chapter showcases a different player, but about some of their teammates, their managers, kind of stuff like that. It's really cool. And as you can see, tons of really nice pictures. This is an older book, one of the, I guess, older ones we have done. We have done quite a few 1800 books, so this mid-1900s book ain't too old, I guess, but not super new, but definitely worth the read. I did get mine from the thrift store, like I said, so, you know, back in the day, people, and I'm sure people still do it, but they kind of stamp it or put little marks in there from the library of so-and-so, so you can see where this one actually came from somebody else. Because of it is from a thrift store, it did have some water damage, but did not hurt the read at all. As you can see on the front, lots of different players in the old-timey baseball card. Look, right there, single best baseball book of all time. Is it? I don't know. It's really good, though. The Glory of the Times. On the side, you can see Lawrence Ritter. And on the back, kind of just the same stuff. Easily the best baseball book ever produced by anyone. Lots of good stuff. And there's your ISBN if you need it. And so, yeah, like I alluded to earlier, each chapter is a different baseball player. And a lot of these are like late 1800s, early 1900s, say 1910s and 20s. Which is really cool. Maybe not quite as vintage as the baseball that we saw, which was really fun. That's why I wanted to read more about it. But definitely you have a lot of stories where it's definitely not the baseball of today for sure, and not the baseball of the day when this book was written. I mean, you see the struggles. The ball players want to become ball players, play baseball for a living, and their families will disown them, say it's not worth it, blah, blah, blah. Now, towards the end of the book, you do see that kind of changing where I think people are having success in the neighborhoods these kids are coming out of. And this allows the parents to be like, well, go try, but if you don't make it, just promise that you'll go back to college, blah, blah, blah. And so you do see that kind of stuff going on. And it's funny because a lot of times you see the older players discussing the differences in the game. And again, this is written well before today. And so you're talking 100 years almost, the differences of the game at this point. And they're talking about the shape of the baseballs, they're heavier, the shape of the actual bats themselves. There's one in here where they shaped the bat so it looked like kind of an old milk carton on top with a very thin handle. And it's just so cool. You see a lot of the troubles they had to go through to even get to the teams. There's one player that slept on, cars in open fields, and he just talked about how dirty he was, and when he showed up at the actual team facility, they're like, who are you, blah, 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 because he was just so dirty. So yeah, it was super, super fun read. I definitely recommend it. Overall, it is a super good read. Talk about early days of baseball, so you can really see the history. We love history here. You can see how the mentality of the game changed as far as maybe runs, the fields being bigger, there wasn't as many home runs, so you have more inside the field home run kind of deals, a lot more players trying to steal the bases and make runs that way. But there's a couple you get towards the end and they're like, no, the players are as good today as they were back in the day. And you had a couple that were like, no, they're faster. They're just asked to do less. And so you kind of get that as well. But overall, yeah, I super enjoyed it. I looked forward to reading this every time I got the opportunity to sit down and read it. I mean, I would honestly rate it like an 8.5 out of 10. It's really good. We haven't done a ton of sports-related books on this channel yet. That'll probably change here shortly. We may even have like a Halloween-themed one since we're in the month of October now. But yeah, I just wanted to tie this one in and give you guys a good recommendation for a baseball one, especially with us doing that vintage baseball game and a lot with the Pecos League. We go down and watch them at Roswell. We did for a while when they were in the Springs. They're no longer in the Springs, so the closest one is Trinidad. But yeah, super fun read, and I'm sure I'll talk about it more at some point, but yeah, you just get the whole history of baseball and how good teams were, and you know, it's kind of funny because some of those teams now not very good, or obviously it kind of goes over a little bit of the Black Sox scandal as far as the World Series and how the other teams were actually trying to get bought off to throw the game, and they were like, no. And just like how easy it was for players to get bought and sold to different, franchises, and even learning about some of those franchises that are not around anymore. So yeah, overall, I do recommend it. You should definitely try to go check it out. I know we've been doing a lot of sports stuff lately, so hopefully some of those fans are watching this review. And, if you've read it, let me know. If there's other baseball books I should read, definitely let me know. I have one other kind of old-timey baseball book in mind, so you can find this one on Amazon, though, still. I was going to buy it off of that. I have a ton of Amazon cards, so I was going to use some of that, but did luck into finding this one at a thrift store, and I'm super glad I did. Definitely recommend it. One of my favorite books I think I've read so far. The history is so much fun, and I've taken notes and try to find other books about some of the players in here. I definitely want you guys to go read it first, but wouldn't be surprised if a little bit down the line you see some more vintage baseball player books coming out, or maybe just videos themselves. I know we did the extra credit on the Potato King, so who knows. If you guys want to see us do it, we'll definitely do it. But yeah, if you guys want to see more Culz book reviews, this is episode 51. So you got quite a playlist to your top left. Our previous one was James B. Mills, Billy the Kid El Bandito Simpatico. Another fantastic read. So got some good options, these two. If you want to see more about what we're doing here at Culz Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And let us know, again, did you read this book? And is there a better baseball book we should read, or just a vintage baseball book that you recommend? Tell us in the comments below.